Hello everyone and welcome to an exciting episode. So if you know me, if you follow my channel, it's all about no code. But when I do code, I usually do that with AI. And again, if you follow the channel, you know my preferred platform is Replit. Usually it's where I develop my code through the Replit agent. And I use Replit because of the quick deployment capability. And not to mention that Replit agent is a good tool to build prototypes. Now, there were always limitations with the Replit agent. Usually, when you ask it to develop something, it will go create all of that code base. But each time you go back to Replit agent for a modification, it goes again and starts changing things around across the whole code base that in many times after a while, it can self-destruct the code base. So you'll have to go in cycles, and compared to other platforms, that was always a limiting factor for Replit. And let me be clear, this video is not sponsored by Replit. The amazing team at Replit, they gave me early access to this amazing beta feature that is coming out. Probably by the time this video is out, most people, at least I would assume the core members on Replit, have access to this amazing feature that I would assume would put Replit at a whole new level. The name of this feature is AI Assistant. I know it might get confusing. We have the AI agent, now we have the AI Assistant. Well, it's different. So the AI agent, which by the way, I think is still considered in beta version, is made to create that initial prototype. They have now introduced the AI assistant that will go in and do precision changes in the code. You can use it for debugging, you can use it to add features, modify things, and it will only go to do these exact changes or modifications or fixes without changing the whole thing. So the possibility of things going wrong after you achieve something with the agent reduced dramatically. I've tested it and I'm gonna test it again with you on this video so you can see firsthand and probably some of the first people to witness this in how effective this tool is in building applications on Replit, checking the code before you push it onto the code base, doing some bug fixes, and eventually offering two different brush types basically to draw your application. A huge one to create the overwhelming part of the application, the look and the feel of the prototype, and a fine-tuned brush that you can use to do these small strokes to your application that could take it from good to great. And before we go further, if you are new to the community, my name is Samer. I try to help non-technical people empower their careers, their lives, build things when it comes to AI and technology. So if this is something you want to do, well, hit the subscribe button and welcome to the community. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel, the mic.
And here we are on the Replit website. Everything looks normal. If you're using Replit, this looks familiar. But when I got early access to this beta feature of this AI assistant, I noticed that Replit also introduced a new look for the development environment, which is much more intuitive, easier to navigate, easier to monitor things as they go, which we'll see in a second. Now, I went and I got a random idea for an application to create from ChatGPT. So let me put this prompt in and we jump straight into developing the application, starting with the Replit agent as the first step. And later on, we'll start fine-tuning, maybe debugging with the assistant. So here is the prompt. Let me actually enlarge the screen a little bit so things are clearer to you. So create a personal finance tracker that enables users to log daily expenses, categorize them, visualize spending with charts, and set monthly budget goals. So very broad. Let's see what the agent does with this. And later on, we're gonna go and see what we can do with the assistant. So normally, as usual, we just hit start building and we see the magic happening. So now the agent is looking at the prompt. It will, if you tested this before, give me some other ideas I might want to add, as you see on the screen, to my application. So the build initial prototype is the basic one. Then add income tracking and net worth calculation. Let's add that. Implement recurring expense tracking, add financial goals and saving tracking. So let's add that as well. Create custom spending categories, and let's add that as well. Usually I like to start with just the prototype and later on add as I go. But with this one, with having the assistant, I feel I can actually push more early on and fix it later on within the application through the assistant or the agent. So you'll have to still deal with both. So let's approve the plan and start. So you can see the visual here. It's cleaner, easier to track. Not a big change, but definitely an easier setup to navigate. So you can see there's a new tab on the left here. So we have the agent, which most of you, if you tried Replit, you know. And now we have something new called the assistant. If we click on the assistant, we get the tab here. We will interact with it later on. For now, let's see what the agent gives us as the first build. And later on, we'll see where and how we use the assistant. Usually what I like to always keep available for me is the console and the web view. These are the basic windows you will always need for these type of applications. So let's go back to the progress and just monitor how this is going. Okay, so it seems the first push of the prototype is done. So let's go to the web view. You can see it here. Let us actually open it in a new tab and see how it looks. So it loaded. So we have dashboard here. I mean, for a first prototype, honestly, this is amazing. And there's nothing that they communicated to me when they asked me to be part of this beta testing. But I noticed, maybe this is just me, but I noticed that the agent is behaving better already. I don't know if there's in the back end certain improvements they've done. So we have navigation here. You can actually push it back and show it again. You have a dashboard. You can add an expense here. So you have the date, the category. We have really nice categories. Okay, interesting. You have an amount, and then you have a description where you can basically type in what you want to add. This could be something I use, honestly. Then you have budget settings, which is how much the budget you want. And then you have the year, and then you have the month. So that's an interesting. So like they showed 2024 because we are in 2024. I might want to have the budget. Now we are in December. So I might want to have the budget for 25 already set into the app. So let me, just to show you how this works with the agent. So let me ask the agent to do this small modification and see how it works. Mostly for such requests, the agent will get it, but always with the agent, you run the danger that it will do other things that you are not asking for, or it could, by mistake, affect the code where you start getting errors. Hopefully we'll not get that. I just want to show how, again, it goes and like revamps the whole thing to give you this one change. And one more thing we can ask for it to do, which is considerably something still better to do through the agent, at least from my experience, is create a login or sign up and login through email and password. So we'll ask the agent to do both and we see how that goes. And then I think we're going to need the assistant to start doing the fixes and the tweaks. So let's go back to our agent here. Let me write it a quick prompt. So the prompt I'm giving it is, I need you to add to the app a user sign up and login by email native to the app within its own database. So basically I want it here. I don't want it through a third-party service like Firebase or anything. And also for the left pan, I want the option to set budget for up to 2 years ahead, i.e. 2025 and 2026 as of this year. So let's see how the agent handles this request and we'll go forward. Now, in theory, you should respond to the question that it has. It's asking, can you see the person finance tracker interface with the dashboard, add expense and budget setting options in the sidebar? So just confirming if the functionality it built is there. So I'll just ignore that and I'll push this request through the agent. And let's see the next version if it has the successful login and sign up. And also if it can add these 2 years ahead where I can put a budget for 2025 ahead of time if I need to do so. So it broke down the steps. First, let's add the user authentication tables and functionality. Then we'll modify budget planning to allow for future years. So it identified both tasks and is going to start working on it. Let's see how that performs. Actually, it won't be the worst thing to get an error here while it runs again. That will help me showcase the assistant. So start building the database, which is based on SQL. Now, the great thing about Replit, honestly, when I use it, is that it can install all the libraries that are needed for any code base automatically. Okay, so it loaded and I can see on the dev tools a notification here, which usually is an error. So that's good. at least for showcasing the assistant to have. So let's look at that. So this is the error that the dev tools was showing. So if we try to maximize it, we have all the details here. So let me try to address this through the assistant even before I start testing. So let me just copy the whole thing. So I just copied the error we got in the console from the dev tools. Now in the past, to fix this, if you're not a coder like me and you use these tools, you'll take this error, push it to the agent, and the agent will go in another cycle to try to fix the error, while changing so many things that it will take a lot of time and opening new sessions with the agent with the hopes that it will fix it without affecting the good things that it did so far. Now we have the AI assistant that can do these things for us at laser precision. So the odds that the assistant will destruct any of the good code that was created till this stage in the application is minimal to none from what I've seen. And it gives you more control to drive the AI as it develops the code fixing bugs or enhancements that you're asking for. So this is a job for the assistant. Let me go and just give it a quick simple prompt to fix this error, and we'll see what we get. So this is the prompt I'm giving the AI assistant. I am getting below error. Is it concerning? Can I test with it? Or shall I fix? Or shall we fix? If a fix is needed, please provide the fix. So basically, I'm having a conversation for it. So it's something between an AI agent and just an AI chatbot of some sort. You can have conversations with it, something that is not there with the agent. If you give a prompt to the agent, it will just bolt to action and start building things. So here again, you can see you still have the options on the bottom of selecting the AI model you want to work with. So we have the Claude 3.5 Sonnet version 2, we have GPT-4o, we have GPT-4o Mini, and also there are nice other nuggets here. You can still attach an image, a document when you interact with the AI assistant, similar to the agent. And here also, you can select what code base you want the assistant to look at. Or if you click on this, you can just let the assistant decide the context. Basically, it will look at the whole code base and decide for itself which files it should, or folders it should be looking at while addressing your prompt. So for now, I'm going to keep it to actually decide for itself, and I'm going to push this prompt, and let's see how it will react to this prompt and try to fix this bug. So you can see it is running now, and it read 7 files. And here you can see it did a modification to a file, and automatically it restarted the REPL after applying the changes. Now you can click on the change that it did, and you can see the unified view. So here we see the original code that it removed and what it was replaced with in green. You can see it also as unified code. So you can see here where this is what went away, basically the part in red or amber, and the part in green is what was replaced or changed. And it automatically did a run. And now let's go to the web view and see if that addressed the error. I can see a notification in the dev tools. Let's click on that. Let's take this a notch up, and still giving the same error. So here I'm telling it that simply I am seeing the same error still. So let's push this prompt and see what it will do now about it. So again, it's looking through the code base to decide what to work with. Again, here's 6 files. It's going after the same file again, which is the config.toml. And if I click on it, again, this is what I think it gave us last time. So it did additional lines here, which maybe some of them are the part of what it deleted before. And it automatically rerun the application. And if we go to the web view, we can see the error is not there anymore. And for some reason, it turned into black mode or dark mode. So let's open it in a new tab to look at the application and see what we get. Okay, so this is the login and sign up we asked for. So let's go to the sign up. Let me create an account. Okay, so I just put a bogus type of email just to test this, samer@samer.com. I put a password and I will hit sign up. So account created successfully, but then I got this error. So let me just copy this error here and go back to the assistant. Now again, I can go to the agent and push this error to it and ask it to fix it. After using the assistant, this might take maybe a little bit more iterations, but I'm sure I'm progressing towards my goal, and I'm not running the risk of basically taking 10 steps back when I have those interactions with the agent, because the agent sometimes tends to do that. Timeout, timeout. So if you're still watching the video, I really appreciate it so much. I hope you enjoy it. And hey, consider clicking that subscribe button down there. So let's stick with the assistant. And like the agent, by the way, I can create at any moment a new session here. So let's click at a new session, and I will give it a prompt to try to fix this new error. So now I'm giving it, I was able to sign up, and once I did that and got logged in, the main page showed below error, while the left panel was showing normally. Also, the app turned to dark mode for some reason. And by the way, this dark mode could have happened because of the modification that we did through the agent. If you remember, we had one modification pushed through the agent for the sign up and login. So maybe that happened then, but showed later on. But anyways, I'm gonna send this to the assistant to see what it does about it. So again, looking at the error, and okay, it can see the error. It did some fixes in the main.py and then the same config toml file. So let's look at what it did in the main file. So this is let's go to the unified. I think the unified is easier way to look at it. Actually, let's go to the split, because it shows you exactly what you want. And like, this is a very interesting way to view it. So you don't need to really navigate through the whole code. Here it will show you exactly which lines are affected. Okay, so it did some changes here. And let's look at the config. So it added, again, I think it fixed the theme colors. So let me close these replicated tabs. Let's go to the web view. Now we're back. There's no error. We're back to the white mode, which is what we looked for or what we wanted. So let's open it in a new tab. So this is our application. Let me try to log in with the account that I created and see if that works. Okay, so I put the credential I used to sign up before. So let's hit login and let's see if that works. So it worked, but we still got the error. So let me pick that up again and go through the assistant to fix it. Now let me just do a quick check. So I have now 24, 25, 26, but I also lost the previous years. So I want to keep that as well. So that's another thing we do through the assistant. Let's go back. Okay, so I'm telling it I logged in successfully, but again, main page showed below error. And for the years in the left panel, I can see 2 years ahead and current year, but previous years are not showing. I need to have option for 2 years before as well as 2 years ahead. So basically I want to see a span of 5 years. The year I'm in, 2 years ahead and 2 years previously. So all these fine modifications are best done, at least from what I did already in testing, and what we can see here to some extent is done through the assistant. Again, the reason I'm still working with the assistant and not the agent, because fixing such errors with the agent is like trying to put off a small fire with a hose, like a huge firefighting hose. Basically, you'll destroy so many things. You might put the fire out, but you'll destroy many things around that fire. So I need a tool that is fit for purpose to the problem or the modification I want to do. So yes, I want to put off that fire, but I want to do it with minimal damage or with accuracy that gets me the result without metaphorically destroying or making everything wet around it. So I don't know if that's a good analogy, but anyways, let's hit send and see. Hopefully the third time is a charm, and it will fix the error now, and it will give us 2 years before as well. So I'll help fix both issues, the error and the year range for selection, looking at the error and the code. So just to understand what it's saying, we need to add user ID to the get budget goal, call and modify the year range selection. Okay, so it noticed something in the main file, so it didn't touch the config file this time. We click here, we can see the code it added. Okay, so let's go back to the web view. Again, good news, no errors. And let's hit new tab here just to see the application. And we have the login. So I added the same credentials for the account I created. Let's hit login, and it's working now. Okay, and if we go to the select year, you can see I'm having 2 years back, 2 years forward. Nothing else got affected. I have the full 12 months. I have the same things. If you remember, add expense, budget settings. I have a logout button, and I have the dashboard. And in theory, if I want to add an expense, let's try it and then do one more thing through the assistant because now it's working, it's good. We want to add one more feature, for example, here. So let's just test the actual application if it's working or not. So let me add food and drinking. Let me add, so $10. Let's say that $10 is for a burger, and I'll hit add expense. So again, we get an error. So error adding expense database. So let me copy this error. Again, if you are part of the people already working with Replit, you know what I'm talking about and how it feels safe now to fix these things with the assistant. You will try it hopefully soon yourself, but this is a big change. In the past, I used to go to the agent and have zero expectation if this prompt will basically destroy so many things and will change so many things, and I lose control over what I'm building. Now I'm building exactly what I want and the way I want it at small incremental steps. You can at all times, if something is complex and you see it's not happening with the assistant, you can try to go to the agent. But from what I experienced, I would never use the agent other than the first build. Beyond that, it will be 100%, at least from what I'm experiencing so far with this new feature, is working with the assistant. It's better. To put it mildly. So let's go back to the assistant. So I'm giving it again this prompt. When trying to add an expense, I got below error and I give it the error. Now, before I push this forward to the assistant, just notice when you start interacting with the assistant, you get this icon here, which is the debugging icon. And if you click at it, you can see copy debug information, go to Langsmith, which is, I think, used for debugging and maybe benchmarking. If I'm not wrong, write me a comment if I'm wrong in the comment section, for large language models. And then Temporal, which is, to my knowledge, a cloud tool that serious developers basically use to do debugging of some sort. Now, I would have wanted to test with it, but I know also Temporal is not free. So you have to put your credit card, you get some credit, and then after you burn out that credit, you start getting charged per usage or per credit on Temporal. Till now, I didn't build something so complex where I need such a tool, maybe in the future, but this is just for your information. If this is your thing and you already have access to those tools and you want to use them, well, you can use it now straight off the assistant. So for me, it's good to have it. For some of you, write me again a comment in the comment section if this is a huge improvement or something that I should be giving much more attention in terms of a good change that they've done. So sorry, Replit, if I'm just not so excited about something I don't really understand. So let's push this prompt and try to fix that error and carry on, at least fine-tuning our application to what we want it to look and feel and operate as. So it just removed the line and added a line. So let's click at it, see what it did exactly for us. So it added this line, which is a database line in the expense, and it's removed. Okay. So it's just modified basically the line, linking it now to a user ID. So let's go back to the browser again through the web view, go to new tab and see what we get. Okay, so I'm logged in again. So let's try one more time to add an expense. So if I go to add an expense, again, we put here a burger. So again, I put a burger. Let me make it a $10 burger and hit add expense, and it was added successfully. So if we go back to the dashboard, don't know if that will show. So yeah, it started generating even other types of the dashboard because we added one, and we have a line item here, and we can actually export this in CSV. I didn't ask for that, and this is a really interesting feature. Let me actually try it just for the sake of it. I got a running here, but I didn't get the file, so it's something that we can fix later on. But it's definitely interesting. And you can see here I have, okay, some other full screen access. So this looks like, you know, something that you would get on Tableau, kind of dashboard, honestly, which is interesting. I can download a plot as a PNG. Let me try to do that. That worked. If I open it, so I got one of the dashboards you can see here, which is interesting. Let me put it in full screen. Yeah, it's just a screenshot basically it got. Okay, so if we go back to the application, you know, we're progressing in slow steps, but it's not degrading the application because of the assistant. So let me try to add one more feature just to test the assistant one more time before I go to my takes on this feature and new tool that Replit are pushing, what I think is working, what can work better in the future, in my opinion. So let's go with one more idea, which is simply adding an actual navigation bar on the top and the footer at the bottom. Just as we build more pages, we might need those kind of standard boilerplate type of navigation and footer for a website or such a tool. Maybe it's not necessary, I want to see how accurately it puts something forward based on a request to the assistant. So this is what I'm telling it. Now it's working. Add to the page a standard nav bar on the top and a typical footer for terms and contact form. Now, if I give it to the actual agent, probably if the agent doesn't negatively affect the application, it will actually build it with the pages, I would assume. Let's see how the assistant reacts. Potentially, it will just build the links with no pages to reflect those. And potentially, it will actually do that, which will be a great result, but doing only and exactly that without affecting anything we already progressed through or to with this application and affecting that negatively or even positively, but without our request. So let's push forward. So it's looking at 7 files again. It's going after the styles. So that could tell me it's actually creating those pages for the links. It added 40 lines and removed one. It's also modifying the main.py. It's adding 21 or 22 lines and it's running against applying the changes and it ran. Let's just see, the kind of thing it added. So again, this is the styles. So it's defining a style. So this is the style of the navigation bar, the color, yada, yada. Okay. And if we go to the main.py, you can see it's having code to show the nav bar, something to show the footer. There is a link. Okay, so let's go to the web view, open a new tab and see how the application looks like now. Okay, so this is how the application looks like now. I do not see a navigation bar. I can see space here, but I don't see a navigation bar. I see definitely the footer. So there's terms of service, privacy policy, and contact us. If I try to open this in a new tab just to see what it gave us. So yeah, we're going back to the login. So this is something to fix in terms of cookies. So it will maintain the session basically. So let's try to click within the same window, see if there's a page behind this. Yeah, so it's just simply a link. So it did exactly what I asked for without creating a page. So now I can take this to the next steps and create the page. I can fix the navigation bar and I can continue with that. So this is it for demoing the AI assistant. I think it's the natural next step for Replit. Definitely made this a much more powerful tool. While I'm not sponsored to do this video, I honestly love Replit. I use it everywhere. I know there are more powerful tools, quote unquote, but none of them are a really full-fledged IDE where you can deploy within the same ecosystem with ease for someone not technical like me. Not all of them are environments where you can develop, deploy straight from the cloud. So I can start building something, work on it when I'm on my work laptop, on my personal laptop, personal iPad, even on my mobile. I can do more with Replit than anything else. And I would call it's all in beta. If you talk to Replit team, the agent is in beta, the assistant is in beta. They're working hard towards that. And honestly, dealing with the Replit team, it made a little bit the application a preferred one for me. Because when you talk to these people and I tell them, if I do a video, I'm going to be vocal around the good and the bad when it comes to the tool, they actually encourage that. And they tell me basically, we're in a beta. We actually appreciate that feedback. We want to improve. We want to serve our customers better. So my automatic reaction to such an attitude by any business is respect and appreciation. So going back to the assistant, and by the way, all of these comments, I already gave them as feedback, as a thank you for giving me the opportunity that I appreciate to have early access to this feature. Is fundamentally, I would prefer to have the option to actually accept or reject a modification that is happening. Someone not coding like me, I like to go through these modifications before they happen. Now here I can recall them, like I can basically undo them. in the assistant and reprompt the assistant. But I want to go through them and say, okay, go ahead with that, or that's rejected, or actually I want to have the chance to copy them and then go through the code and paste them myself maybe. Usually for a non-technical person, this helps me understand the code that I'm building with AI and have a little bit more control as I understand it as I do these modifications. One other thing I would prefer, and again, this is just maybe a luxury type of request, you can prompt it definitely with the agent the first time you ask it for the prototype, but I always like a code with really good and very detailed debugging, even to the level that maybe someone professional doesn't need. But for me, if I get really detailed debugging steps, it will help me definitely take that information back to the assistant to exactly pinpoint where things are going wrong. It looks at the code itself, so it doesn't need me in most cases, but sometimes, again, the debugging process, it helps me learn my code better. So it could be like an environment where I'm developing applications, but also learning how to understand code, how to modify it. Maybe it's not the best optimized code because I'm not a professional, but at least when you understand the code that is being built for you by an AI agent, you can actually modify it and improve it, and maybe optimize it as you learn things. This is what I've been doing for a year now, and I'm improving just by doing these things. So that is something I would want to have out of the gate, where it has, some comments and definitely detailed debugging. Last thing I noticed in this very early stage of the assistant is if you have some kind of a little bit of a complex API setup, it struggles to build that for you within the application. Maybe that was a unique case, so I tried it only once ahead of this video, but it struggled with one API setup to create it in the code for me. So that is, again, one thing I noticed. Overall, I think it's amazing what today in general for the technology we can build when it comes to AI in terms of applications. It's really AI is really democratizing the access to technology. But what's more amazing is having businesses and technologies like the Replit platform, where not only you can build a prototype, you can actually fine tune it. Someone like me basically can do something that I think 5 years ago, no one would have dreamed to do something that I do today as an uncoder. You would have to go into years of trying to learn coding, even the basics, to do something that will not even go close to the level of the application I just built in front of you in less than 20 minutes probably. And now with Replit, you can actually deploy straight from there. I use it as endpoint for some application. I actually created application. I have a big project I'm building on Replit myself that I hopefully one day will deploy and push out there to see how people react to it. It's just an idea that I have. So definitely in love with the platform, in love with the assistant. I think it's something that will get at least someone like me to use the platform even more. It's amazing that this is all just in beta version. I really can't wait to see the Replit agent, the Replit assistant, fully powered, fully fledged with all the features that probably are there in the funnel by Replit. And with this, if you watched so far, really appreciate it. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get the access soon. If you're a core member, maybe even non-core members will have it. I don't know. That is something for Replit to announce. But test it for yourself. Write me a comment in the comment section. What do you think about the tool and the feature? And what do you plan to build with it? If you enjoyed the video or got some value out of it, maybe got some inspiration or ideas, please consider write a comment in the comment section. Interacting with you is really what I'm looking for, creating the community around what I'm trying to achieve and help people with. And hey, it will not hurt you if you like the video as well. Subscribe to my channel if you are not a subscriber. And with this, thank you and goodbye.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. Give me the mic.